welcome. It is me, Danyell Carmelita, your favorite tarot reader and astrologer. Now, I'm doing this video just for my group. Well, I'm going to release it to my community group first. If you don't know, it's like my Patreon. And then I'm going to release it to the public. So you guys get the early release of this, and it is going to be about. This is the chart, the natal chart of the inauguration, and this basically explains what do we have to look for the next 4 years. Basically, Trump as president of the next 4 years. I have some interesting things. Also, I've already done some research. Am I finished? Yeah, I did all the research for Venus retrograding in Pisces and in Aries, which is very interesting because it actually happened to when Trump became president in 2017. So this is very interesting that it's going to happen again. If you guys don't know, don't worry about it. I'm going to do that video next, coming up, maybe tomorrow. Anyway, so let me pull up this chart. Oh, before I do everything, and this is not normally what I do for my group. You guys, I want you to understand, join the community group. It is $4.99 a month. I have a lot of extra bonus things in here. I broke down Karen Bass's natal chart, and we do daily tarot readings, weekly tarot readings. Yeah, a lot of yes or no tarot readings. If you have personal questions, I do that. Yada, yada, yada. Okay. If you want some free stuff, first of all, please subscribe. Thank you so much. Also join my newsletter. I give that out weekly and you get the weekly transits. Also, I have this via podcast, so you can listen to this via podcast. So if you cannot watch it on YouTube or whatever, I'm on everywhere that a podcast is able to be played, okay, or listened to. But please subscribe. That really, really helps me out. It's like tipping me. And if you do want to tip me, I do have a tip jar down below. But also, I have free stuff. I have a free reading. If you want a free reading, link down below. If you want to learn how to read tarot, I have a free tool down the link down below. Also, I have, if you want to do a reading, I do charge for one-on-one readings. Just quickly about that, I am behind because I was sick. So all of you guys who are getting your readings, don't worry. I'm stacked, I'm backed up, but it's happening. So there is that. Also too, oh, if you can't afford a reading, like you can't afford me to do a reading, then I do have a ebook and it teaches you how to read your chart for yourself. And that's more affordable and that's down below too. Okay, so yeah, that is what I have for everyone. Let's get into what we're here for, okay? I'm going to pull up the chart here. It says inauguration, but this is really the presidency, what we have for the next 4 years. Okay. I am still trying to figure out how to work. They changed things around its app, so I get a little forgetful. Should we do this? Can you see the chart when I do that? What about this? Oh, it's even smaller. Okay. We'll do this. All right. Okay. So this is an inauguration chart. Actually, I feel like it's too small. I feel like it's gone. I can't find my little. Here we go. All right. Okay. So this is a chart here. And I'm going to break this down. First of all, I want you to understand that this is a Taurus Rising chart that says a lot about the presidency. Okay. So within this next 4 years, we're going to have themes of stability, traditions. Okay. The focus on economic, what we value, money, our material security. Okay. So, our gold, stocks, that's what Taurus represents, just things that we value. So he discussed oils. Actually, let me see. I took notes on his speech of what he said he promises, actually. Let me pull that up so we can see what he said. I took it on my, okay. Of course, he discussed borders. We'll discuss that. Southern borders. I'm just going to tell you real quick because we have so many stallions in Pisces. And because Saturn is in Pisces, Saturn represents borders. I do believe there will be concerns and issues of that. We do have some Aries stuff there. At the same time, it may not get completed while he is presidency. There may be some confusion still with that, but not saying that things won't be productive. Okay. Cartels are terrorists. Now we do have a lot of focus on group things here, and I do think that there will be some power control over that. What else do we have? More oil and gas. Drill, baby, drill. I think he said baby. I could have added that. I do think that is going to be a big focus. That's what made me pull up that this list here with the Taurus rising. And what else do we have? Tariffs. Tariffs is what you charge someone else, right? Am I correct? Let me look up the definition of tariff. Hold on. I wish my son wasn't taking a nap. He's probably listening. Define tariff. A tariff is when you tax others, right? A tax or duty to be paid on particular class of imports. Okay, so that's more like a trade, and that's more, I would think, like the eighth house, right? Yeah, I do believe there will be some control or some communication heavily on that, because this is more like what money you owe kind of situation. If we look at where's the ruler of the eighth house in this presidency, it is Jupiter. Jupiter's over here, what we value. I do think there will be some revisiting and changing up that. So I do think he's going to be heavily on that. Free speech, that is huge on his platform. I do think there will be some control in speech. I do think he will transform free speech. And it could be good or bad. This is a conjunction. We'll get into that a little bit more. But I do think that is going to be a big part within his 4 years. Now, he talks about the Panama Canal. I would think that's something, a canal, like a bridge of some sort, and that's dealing with Mercury. I'm going to actually talk about Palace in connection to this. So maybe we'll get into that a little bit later. But I do think that this is going to be a restriction of some sort, a change. I kind of don't see it. We'll get into that. A gender. Yes, that is definitely going to happen, especially when you have these limitations on this is representing female. We got the male here. There is this uncomfortable energy here. Let me see. It's going against what? Yes, gender is a big to do, big issue, a lot of conflict with it. I don't see it being in the best regard during this whatchamacallit. But you know what? I think I'm going to pull a card for each one. Actually, let me do it right now. We're going to pull a card first on borders. Borders, there's going to be chaos at the borders, disruption, upheaval at the borders. I put the tarot card, and for the cartels and the terrorists, we will have some strength, maybe some compassion. I think it's more strength, a lot of boldness with handling the cartels as terrorists. Far as our oil, this is a very positive card. And for the terrorists, if you guys are listening, I pulled the strength card. And for the what was I pulling it now? For the oil, we have the Ten of Cups. I think it's going to help with a lot of relationships, maybe even relationships with home. So yes, I think that's very positive, especially with home and family. And automobiles. Okay, I didn't talk about the automobiles. I do think that this is going to be a big doozy here. We have Aquarius represents a transform. Not Aquarius. I do think third house. Ooh, okay. So there's a lot of war and conflict with this. Third house represents like I would say travel, more cars kind of situation, even Mercury, the ruler of this over there. And I'm pulling at where we're not really looking at that. I think there's this issue with the plug-in cars and non-plug-in cars, and maybe there's a state-to-state issue. But we're not looking at our resources. We're not grateful for what we have. So there may be some conflict with the automobiles happening here. Or we're not happy. Now, for other tariffs, we're looking pretty happy. We're content. We're finally happy. We're basking in all the things that we own and what we are given. And free speech. Far as free speech, we have the chariot. The chariot moves forward. It is a lot of willpower. Now issues of the home could be a thing, and there could be some sensitivity with the free speech. So let's see how that plays out. I mean, that is how it is. The Panama Canal. It is literally a boat, and we have the seven of machetes here. I'm not the seven, the six of machetes, which is six swords. Yeah, I think that is going to happen. There's a transition here, and there's something with healing, but there's literally a boat, and there's some words or maybe some documents that will be signed, a peace treaty of some sort that will be happening with that. Far as gender, this is the last one. We have the two of brooms. Two of brooms is doing some research. Is it's looking at higher ground. It's not necessarily moving and doing. That's more the 3 of brooms, and this is the 2 of brooms. Is able to see the world overall. So maybe the perspective will be bigger, and maybe there'll be a lot of research on this whole topic. Let's see how that plays out. Okay, but I'm going to break it down astrologically for us, the collective. Okay, now I should have put you guys, sorry, I should have took the chart off. Okay, so now let's talk about Taurus rising. Okay, because we're a Taurus rising with this presidency, a lot of issues with what we value, and a lot of focus on traditions and a lot of not changing. Okay, so what we value is our workers, our homeland, our traditions, American traditions, money, oil, all that, banks, stocks, all that is going to be big during the next 4 years. And also, too, you want to look at the ruler of of Taurus, which is Venus, and Venus is sitting over here and is conjunct Saturn, and it's in its exaltation in Pisces. So there's a lot of love there, compassion when it comes to things that we value. Now, conjunct Saturn means that it's very realistic. It's making a dream come true. There's a lot of restrictions. Also, we're thinking long term, and it's very serious. And it's indicating a blend of idealism and compassion, and also a spiritual aspect and charitable energy also, but being very serious. There is a potential of confusion because you're dealing with Pisces, or maybe a lack of practicality happening too. And Venus is also in a pre-shadow retrograde phase. No, not yet. That will be on the 28th. So that's fine. What I do want to say is that when Venus does retrograde, it's going to affect this presidency because the ruler of the chart is Venus. So Venus retrograde, the dates that we have it here is March 2025. So that's going to affect Trump and his presidency, October 2026, and May 2028. Okay. Far as in March, I can tell you it's going to retrograde in the sign Aries and Pisces. So that could be war, new beginnings, leaders, or things that are ending of some sort. Now I don't have the signs for the other one, so I'll have to tell you that a little bit later. Now, Saturn conjunct Venus in that 11th house. You have a strong focus on collective goals. Pisces represents collective energy. It's humanitarian. It's all about charity and rebuilding. Some alliances, because Venus represents alliance and partnerships. Also, it's limitations, maybe limitations with some allies. I know that Israel could be is an ally with America, and so there could be some controlling issues or limitations or restrictions with that, because Pisces also represents spirituality, secrets, things that are very occult or sexually secretive kind of environment. So that could be something happening. It makes me think of the Jeffrey Epstein. I'm not saying that it's factual. I'm just saying what all this embodies. Okay. Now Saturn brings discipline and realism and focus and long-term energy. So that conjunction at 11th house could represent government. 11th house could represent a group, an organization of some sort too. Okay. Because we have it in the sign Pisces, there's some secrets involving that. Okay. So we may not be finished because Saturn in Pisces seems not clear. And that's why I also think the borders, it could be an issue because Saturn does represent borders, okay? May lead to stricter policies and social welfare and international partnerships. And again, and I just think of that Israel dynamic here. So now let's talk about Aquarius here. And we have that sun, which is at 0 degrees, very strong degree here. And the sun is in the 10th house and is conjunct at Pluto, kind of close to the midheaven. But you're talking about themes of Aquarius, which is future, technology, science, forward thinking, innovative, humanitarian energy, rebellions, okay, a lot of strikes, a lot of protests, emphasis on the collective goals as well. You're talking about the group, you're talking about the world, you're talking about the bigger picture. Not the bigger picture, that's more 9th house, but focus on communication across the board. So social media, words, and now you have Pluto conjunct that. So you have the intensity and power in social media, are the intensity and power in words and speeches and texts and emails, are secrets in all of those things. So like maybe there will be a secret email exposed or some sort, or through some type of message or email, kind of like what happened to Hillary Clinton. This is what that energy represents. Also, it's very strong. So the sun in Aquarius at 0 degrees, we're going to get a lot of things of social media. TikTok is just the beginning of it, okay? But across the board, social media, it makes sense with JD Vance and Trump, because Trump is a Gemini, has some Gemini placements, and so did JD Vance, and they're very strong in communication. And so communication is going to be big with this next 4 years. A lot of speeches, a lot of words being said, tweets, X, social media, TikToks, all that. Now, on top of that, Pluto represents transformation, so it's going to change. So, the prediction of TikTok staying the same, that I will, just with this placement alone, I would think that that's going to change. Also, Pluto not only represents transformation, but it also represents investigation and digging the secrets out of all these dark spaces. So all that is going to be brought to the light within these 4 years. And Aquarius also represents groups and organizations, so that as well will be changing. Now, because you're talking about the sun and it's conjunct Pluto, the sun represents a leader, and that sun could be a death of a leader, and that could be happening with Trump. I just want you to understand, okay? Aquarius is fixed in nature, so it also represents a very resistance to opposition and compromising. The conjunction also again adds any kind of power struggles or focus on dismantling any outdated systems, especially when it's in Aquarius. Okay, anything of the past, and it's so interesting because the ruler is Taurus, so it wants to fix, it wants to stay on traditions. However, the sun and that Pluto energy wants to be very out of the box and doesn't want the traditions. Okay, now the midheaven is sitting close to there, so there is hardworking energy. It's in the sign Capricorn. There's hard work. It's looking like it's very cold, and like, don't play with me, I'm very serious, very tough guy, but not tough in like a strong like physical energy, but tough like I'm very serious and I mean what I say kind of energy. Okay, now we have the moon that's in the sign Libra here, and with the moon in Libra, there are big themes on focusing on partnership. I think this is also representing JD Vance. This also could represent the people, and the people want some type of harmony and balance, and there could be an imbalance or there could be a balance happening. This also represents huge energy with alliances and people who are our allies. Hence, Israel, I think, will be bigger while he is in president, while he's the president. The moon in Libra prioritizes balance, fairness, and public relations. It also could represent diverse groups, challenges, because you can't satisfy everyone, because it's very passive aggressive and is trying to please someone, and when you please someone you can't please the other person, right? Yeah, but a lot of collaborations too could be happening. Libra also represents legal matters. The moon represents the people, so how we feel, as well, and also JD Vance. I just think that JD Vance is going to be a big part of this presidency, and usually with vice presidents you don't get that, but that's what I see with this. The moon is opposing Chiron, and Chiron is sitting here, 18 degrees, 19 degrees. Now, 18 degrees is 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. Literally the sixth house of vanishing and clearing out. Maybe JD Vance will be cleared out of some sort, or hardworking, or organizing, or planning. We'll get into that a little bit later, but the sixth house is all about organization as well. So organizing the allies of some sort, or diminishing an ally of some sort, that could be happening, because that's what that sixth house could represent, but also work and employees too. Now, also with this presidency, we have the Mars in the third house. It's retrograding in the sign Cancer. It's conjunct RIC in the sign Cancer. So these themes are a lot about the homeland, our roots. It's in the third house. Third house is about communication. So like defense, because Mars is your defense, it's your planet of war. It's like your action. Okay. So defensive, emotional, defensive and emotional, because you're dealing with that Cancer aspect, charged with communicative strategies. So a lot of communicating when fighting in war. Maybe we will see it, because this is not in a secret house here. The conjunction with the IC suggests challenges addressing domestic concerns, rebuilding trust with communities, because also that Cancer aspect wants to feel safe. It wants to feel like it's secure. That retrograde makes me feel like there's a lot of repeated steps or a lot of delays and things regarding this. This also aspect could represent war in our homeland. Is focused on stability. a lot of aggression towards stability in home and foundations and homelands. The IC is symbolizing the home, the roots, the nation's core values, and that Mar is assertion and war. So there could be challenges with all those things that I just named. Okay, things representing our past, things represent us feeling safe and secure, our core values. Okay, challenges in implementing education reforms, because that third house does represents education. Now I know he said that, and I didn't have that on my list, but I do think there's going to be a fight against education, and it's early education, so not upper education. I see that there is a chart. The Mercury's in there, and there's stuff up there for that, but I don't see it really being a challenge. We have that Mars retrograding in that third house. So also this could represent transportation. There could be some setbacks in that, but there's probably some setbacks when it comes to him discussing anything dealing with early education. Emotional underpinnings in policy decisions too. So policies around education, transportation, infrastructures, all that may be facing a delay or revision during these 4 years. Now also too, we have Jupiter in the sign Gemini, and it's retrograding. It's in that second house. This is a big, huge focus on our economy and what we value again, which we have that Taurus rising. And here again, we have this second house placement with Jupiter. So a focus on trade, communication, financial adaptability, because that Gemini energy is very adaptable. Yeah, but a huge focus on the economy, on taxes, on well, that's the opposite, but just a lot of money and how we value ourselves, our self-value. All that is going to be a big thing. Now it's in the sign Gemini, so a lot of debates on that, a lot of discussions and arguments on that as well. Let me get into some aspects here. Now we have Mercury, and Mercury is sitting close to Pallas. Okay, Athena. Hold on one second. Cash, can you turn it? Can you hear me? Turn it off. Okay. Sorry about that. Mercury is sitting next to. Wait, hold on one second. Okay, so we have Mercury sitting close to Athena, and Athena represents wisdom, strategy, creative intelligence. It's sitting in the sign Capricorn. It's sitting in the ninth house. It represents our intellect, our problem solving, strategic planning, intellectual discipline with that Capricorn, and practical problem solving with that Capricorn. And it's on a national, global stage. Okay, so very strategic when it comes to communication is what we're going to get during this presidency, like a focus on education. That's a higher education too. Law, there's a lot of things with law, and of course global affairs. We're on the stage, we're very serious, and when we're coming across the world, we're coming off as very strategic. Okay, but there's a lot of negotiations, a lot of wisdom, a lot of governance with this. Maybe too calculated, maybe too strategic is what this could happen. Yeah, over strategizing or a public perception, while clear communication will be a strength. Capricorn energy comes across as very cold and very like overly formal. Like, we're only here for business, there's no compassion here kind of energy. So that could be coming off that way. But if you're living in America, it's probably amazing. I live in America, so it doesn't seem bad to me. Now also we have this MC, and the MC is squaring, the MC is squaring Eris. Okay, and Eris is in the sign Aries here. And now, again, the MC in Capricorn, I probably didn't say that. It's all about leadership. It's all about a focus of long-term energy and very serious in the public image. And it's very like, I want to limit you. I want to restrict you. Very cold and very ambitious kind of energy. Now, when it's conjunct this little dwarf planet that's called Eris, I hope I'm saying it right. Then you're talking about discord. You're talking about rebellion. You're talking about uncovering truths. And Eris is in a sign Aries. This aspect is tension. Okay, when you have a square, and there's tension against traditional leadership that could be happening, or structures and disruptions and bold challenges and authority, because this Aries energy represents leadership. And also, I want to say that this little planet, this little dwarf planet here, also represents like Mars, but more feminine kind of energy. So it's like the sister of Mars. It's the feminine side of aggression and assertion and anger. So it's all about the marginalized people, or the people who are oppressed kind of energy. And this Eris sparks movements that challenges the status quo and push for change. So it makes me think that will announcements be said in regards to very strategic things be said that go against marginalized people? Let's see how that goes. Sextile square. It also squares Mars too. Yeah, so it makes me think that there's a lot of yeah, it makes me think that marginalized people, this could be Palestine or whoever is marginalized, within these 4 years. Also, too, maybe the gay, straight, I don't LGBTQ, whoever feels marginalized, okay, from Trump's presidency. All this could be a big issue, and this could be starting some type of fight within the homeland, and also how we look within the public. That is a big thing. So leadership under fire. You're talking about constant challenges in authority. Eris symbolizes those who feel disenfranchised or excluded, leading to public disputes and rebellions. And we get that there will be a lot of rebellions here, okay? Capricorn represents traditional systems and hierarchies, while this little dwarf planet here demands intimate and bold action addressing injustice and imbalances. Public discontentment, social movements, leadership tested by chaos as well, because this in the sign Aries is going to question the status quo. Okay. So yeah, persistent opposition, constantly people are opposing this presidency, reforms under pressure, global and domestic challenges. I don't think any of that is new when it comes to any type of presidency. So you do have that, but I do want you to understand that you're talking about a marginalized group having some aggression, and they're going to be fighting this whole 4 years with Trump. Now, also this MC is squaring Hygeia. I hope I'm saying the names right. Okay. I mess up all of these asteroids and small dwarf planets, but it's squaring Hygeia, and it's also in Aries. Okay. And you're talking about this is the asteroid that is all about our health and wellness. This makes me totally think of he immediately right away signed the document for us to get away from the World Health Organization. That is basically what this is. And you have that squaring here. So there's some challenge. So we may not hear the end of this. Also, there is also a challenge here with our IC and with the Mars. So people at home are not going to be happy. And there could be some conflict within that too. But you're talking about health and leadership challenges, our health regarding people trying to pursue things, being limited, not limited. Well, that could be happening too. Emotionally trying to pursue things, and there's a halt at it. Bold reforms in public health. Of course, I think that's going to be really big. We already can see it. Public image and responsibility, focus on prevention and wellness. Okay. Now, also with the sun in Aquarius, it's also, this is a great aspect, right? It's trining at 0 degrees, which is very strong degree, Setna. Setna here, it is okay, Aquarius is out of the box. It's different. It's intellectual. It's communicative. It's very social. It's innovative. It's the individual and innovative, not individual. And it's a collective energy and a connective progress. While Setna is a dwarf planet, and it symbolizes sacrifice and resilience, also isolation and transformation and healing and deep-seated wounds. Now it represents inner power, soul magic, and karmic lessons. So you have these two things, and are working really great together. So this is really positive with the Trump presidency, even regardless of your of your party situation, or if you disagree with Trump. I'm reading the chart, okay? But with this is positive because it focuses on, which is interesting because this is a marginalized voice, but this is also like a marginalized voice too. So it's interesting that it's not working with one small group, but it's working with another small group. Makes me think of a group that's isolated, and also makes me think of people who were vaccinated and who couldn't speak. This is like dead on to it, and there's freedom, and this is a redoing because this is retrograding, so it's a redoing, and we have to repeat this and go back to something, but reclaiming power that was given through someone who was sacrificed, or advocating for the vulnerable. That's what this energy represents. A reevaluating of the solitude, and it makes me think of the solitude of people who were not vaccinated, and because he did discuss that in his inauguration speech. But yeah, community support for people who are isolated, and it's like now I'm giving you a platform to speak freely, to say what you want to say, because these both are dealing with major communication. So let's see the restrictions be lifted off when people are talking about COVID, because I know on the bottom of a YouTube video, if you say COVID, it's, you know, down there. You already see Mark Zuckerberg trying to take fact checking away. So these things, it looks like, will be lifted for people who were isolated or their voice wasn't heard. And I say voice, but this is also dealing with things of value, because this is in his second house. And it's also when he discussed, when he said in his speech that they're going to get their back pay. I do believe this will happen with that. Okay. So turning isolation into innovation, recognizing of unseen sacrifices. Now, this is just doesn't mean the people who are not vaccinated. This could mean any other marginalized group that was taken and had to something with their values or their self-worth was taken away. This is the only thing that I could think of, though, is the unvaccinated people. But now they're on stage. It works with him having the power and him having this transformation. Okay. Let me see. What else do we have with this? But a lot of healing through communication too is what you get, and collective awareness and activism happening, and something with technology and focus. Oh, also too with this, which I didn't say, is that there is a focus on technology and enhancing the future in technology. And you hear him talking about the wall and it having some scientific or technical, some technology advancement. All that is going to happen in these 4 years while he's president too, because that is power with technology here, or transformation with technology. Okay. Now also too, we have this white moon here. This is at 0 degrees, a very potent degree, and it's not quite happy. It's quincunx. Quincunx means that there's tension. It's very uncomfortable. Now, when you have the white moon, Selene, okay, it symbolizes purity, divine protection, often representing a higher moral compass, or an ideal. And it's detached intellectually, right? It's like there's a communication here, but I'm emotional and I can't. It's making me pass, making me uncomfortable. Are there something with the future, and we still have something from the past here, and it's very strong. It makes me think of something with social media, freedom of speech, or maybe there's not a pure. There isn't anything pure, or maybe the pureness of it is causing some tensions. This is also could be dealing with some spiritual guidance. Guidance is off and it's not communicated very well. A struggle to align emotional instincts with rational or practical goals, feeling torn between your personal needs and the collective needs, because this is personal and this is very sensitive. Emotional resistance to change may arise. Yeah, but the effort at the end of this transit, of this aspect here, may make it turn out okay. Okay. Let me see what else we have here, and I'm just going to say some presidential themes here. Okay. We're going to have some diplomatic success because we're rebuilding international alliances that could be happening, or a huge emphasis on our allies. Okay. Policy focus on education and justice, because we have that Mercury and Pallas in that ninth house, and we also have placements in that third house there. So huge focus on education and the justice system. The justice system is the ninth house. A lot of speeches, a lot of words, a lot of written things on that. And then on the opposite side, far as early education, there is some conflict and aggression towards that. Okay. Strong messaging and communication, public health policies, that's going to be huge. Tensions between action and structure, because you have that Aries and it demands quick action, while the Capricorn is like very methodical and likes to plan. So there may be some delay responses when it comes to some health energy, or anything dealing with health themes. Global environmental health could be a thing too, with the Aries, with the Pallas and all that stuff. And let me see what else. Economic reforms and trade. We have that Taurus rising, and we have Jupiter and Gemini. Gemini does represent trade. This is going to be big, especially with that Jupiter and Gemini. Huge, big deal with trade in that Panama Canal. So I do think that that will be happening, but it's retrograding. So I do think there will be a lot of delays, a lot of debates on that issue alone. Okay. Reassessment of trade and agreements. Now, if we're dealing with water, let me see, sextile. Actually, let me show you. If we're dealing with the water alone, I'm going to look at some water things here. I just think because this is squaring the limitation, the borders of this, there may be an issue with that that canal. I don't know enough about the canal. What is it called? Canal pathway or whatever. But from what I know, from what I'm seeing in astrology, it may not be working, or there's a lot of delays and restrictions in that. Okay. Again, I talked about the sun and the sun and Pluto in that 10th house, transformation and leadership. Okay. Vance may be stepping up. Something may be happening to Trump. Also, remember we had a health aspect involved with this. That could be a health issue regarding Trump. Let me see. Focus on also getting rid of some outdated systems, and that could be happening at the same time. There's a lot of focus on traditions. I hope that makes sense. So, like, I think when it comes to social media, there's the future and science and technology. However, when it comes to our values, there's a lot of things of sticking to our core values as Americans. Yeah, and Venus is in that 11th house. So even like futuristic things, it may be restricted. Being diplomatic in public relations, I've already discussed that. Domestic concerns, right? That Mars retrograding in that 3rd house, big emotional focus on domestic issues such as education, transportation, and community relationships. This is going to be huge. Defensive communication strategies, communication across the board is going to be big, of course. Dealing with Trump, he cannot stop talking. But JD Vance is an added aspect to that. And I think communication across the board is going to be huge. And now we're also adding the element of early education. That's going to be a big thing. Social and humanitarian policies. So Venus and Saturn in that Pisces energy, collective welfare, discipline added to this energy, struggles to balance compassion with practicality could be happening, increased focus on social reforms, healthcare, environmental conservation. That's going to be huge, and we'll see it, and it might be moving very slow. Let me just tell you critical years to watch, okay? In 2025, we have Venus retrograding in Pisces. That's going to affect the Trump, because remember his chart ruler is Taurus for his presidency. So Venus retrograding in Pisces, there's going to be some challenges, and we'll see how that plays out. Pisces is in his 11th house, so you're talking about organizations and groups and friendships and collective goals. That's going to be an issue that's coming in March, so we'll see. Now Pluto in Aquarius, it begins to its influence, of course, and it's at a potent degree. It's at 0 degrees. So having that makes it very intense for the beginning of 2025, and major intensity. And there's could be a lot of rebellions, a lot of protests happening, a lot of discussions and communication, and social media. That would be big. Now in 2026, we have an eclipse in Taurus and Scorpio. Actually, let me double check that just to make sure. Okay, so disregard what I just said about the eclipses. But I did see there will be eclipse coming up within these 4 years. An Aquarius eclipse that looks like it could be kind of close, maybe not, but an Aquarius eclipse could affect because he has the sun in Aquarius with that chart. But I did see the Pisces eclipse, which we have a set of Pisces and Virgo eclipse next year. And if you see in a chart here, there's a lot of planets here. Actually, let me take out these. I was looking at all the eclipse. A lot of planets in Pisces, so that eclipse could really affect him within this year. So 2025 is a lot of changes. Pisces does represent endings, okay, and diminishing and cleansing of something. So we'll see how that plays out. Before I ask 2027, let me check out and see what that looks like. Now I'm looking here. Let me actually do this with you guys. So I'm going to look at the next year, actually. Second chart, sorry. Did I even? Okay, so we'll do a second chart. Current things will change. Oops, we'll change it to a year from now. And look and see what we have here. A year from, actually, let me take some things off to make it less complicated. Okay, so a year from now, we have, again, Pisces things. I guess I shouldn't do for the year, but I should just do it like monthly, actually. So just looking and see within this year and seeing like what we have. Oh, Jupiter in the sign Cancer. There's something big here that's going to happen here when it comes to this education or something with the homeland or some type of fight or war in a homeland, it's going to expand. And that's going to be around September of 2025. That looks like that would be big in 2025. Also, yeah, okay, that's what we have there. Let me see. Now, I know when these planets hit Aries, we have it hitting Aries. Mars, where's Mars? Mars is in Aquarius. It looks like, let me go back. Oh, okay. Looks like it's going to be fine. Okay, so when these two planets hit Aries, I was really thinking a lot of war here with this presidency. I mean, he's discussing it, but it matters where this Mars is for us, and also if I look at Trump's chart. But if you're talking about 2026, it may become more of a thing, and a lot of people ending, things of ending, a lot of confusion with war could be happening in 2026. Because these are what these two planets represent, and when they're conjunct, ooh, Lord Jesus, it is a hot mess. And of course, we have, Uranus is going to be in Gemini. So a lot of unexpected and fast communication, or a lot of things on social media, or unexpected discussions happening in 2026 as well. And let's see what else we have. Still in 2026, Jupiter goes into Leo, and a lot of discussions about celebrities within the US, within our homeland, a lot of celebrities on stage. That's going to be a big concern, possibly. Yeah, I'm trying to see if I'm going to have to actually, because I'm doing this per month, and I know there's a lot of things that I'm missing, but I was trying to see if there's any big aspects here that I can just call out. I really have to focus, and because I want to look at every single planet and see how is it connecting to every single thing. Yeah, far as his presidency, but you definitely see Pluto moving on, and a lot of, I just think this is really huge for the presidency. But it moving to each degree is going to affect, and then you see the node, so it just makes me think that there's eclipses that's going to happen in 2027, so that's going to be really huge for their presidency. And then when we get to 2028, yeah, a lot of eclipse in Aquarius for 2028. And yeah, eclipse means that there's sudden changes or even a death of a leader as well. That could be happening around that time. Okay. Yeah, I'm trying to see what else do I have here. What to watch. Okay. The moon in Libra, watch out for a bunch of, first of all, a lot of planets in air signs. So major communication across the board, huge things with allies, very huge with our economy, very huge on what we value and what Trump values for us. A lot of global alliances, a lot of domestic issues because Mars is retrograding in Cancer. Okay. So yeah, you heard it here first. I hope you guys enjoyed. Oh, let me pull some cards other than the other stuff that I pulled. Okay. Okay, we'll say in 2025, what do we have? Judgment card. The judgment card represents a transformation. It represents, we already have this, a huge transformation happening. A lot of people, a lot of, while he is in presidency, a lot of people are going to be called awakening. There's an awakening with this, and I'm calling like your true calling. Maybe he is going to be aware of his true calling, but there is a big transformation with that card. Now in 2026, this is all about the finances and the economy and being very passionate and fighting for the finances. The Knight is war, right? Fighting for the economy and the finances. And then in 2027, we have the Two of Brooms, and the Two of Brooms for 2027 is being higher ground, doing a lot of research. I was thinking that a lot of strategy with their just a lot of research and planning and being not productive, but just a lot of research, passion with research, and the world is at our fingertips. So might be a better year for us. What is that? 25, 26, 27, 28. we have the strength card. Okay, look, we didn't have the death card, but looking strong in 2028. Yeah, being a leader in 2028, that is what we have. Okay, so that is what I have for the presidency of Trump's presidency. I will be getting more detail with everything, you guys. I'm going to be looking at Trump. I'm still looking at Gavin Newsom. We got to break that down. Yeah, if you guys have anything you want me to look at, just tell me. I'll research it and we got it. We get it going. All right, I will see you guys next time. Thank you for watching. Bye.